What's up guys? Today I'm starting a new series on the channel called Featured Photog, and basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be bringing in some other personalities like Jeff here.
It's hard to start with the best, Brendan.
It's hard to start with the best. I'm going to bring in photographers and maybe even just travelers or videographers like Jeff and feature them on episodes, you know, every couple weeks, if you guys like it. So we're starting out with Jeff. We're going to follow him around here in Trinidad, although it's already sunset. Follow him around all day today and then all day tomorrow, and we're probably even gonna sit down, have a little bit chat, talk about photography, business, and all that garbage you guys like to listen about, like how to make money as a travel photographer. What happens if I'm describing what the other person is doing?
Just go the opposite of what
I'm
you're
terrible at life. So anyways, guys, I just wanted to sit down with my boy Jeff here. It's the end of the trip now, and I'm gonna run through some footage, not only from Cuba, but from some other trips we've done together and stuff like that, and talk about this trip, talk about Instagram, and just talk about life in general. So here it is. What's going on, man?
Not much. Last day I got to head to the airport in 15 minutes, so we left this to the wire.
So you're living in Canmore now, back in the Rockies. What's the draw of the Rockies?
Yeah, for me the Rockies are just where I feel at home, I guess. I think it's the best combination, landscape and for recreation. So I'd love to be there and hang out, and I love to, I just love the landscape more than anywhere else I've traveled. I think I can get by shooting anywhere, but I definitely am more comfortable in the mountains and more comfortable shooting, recreation type travel. So, you know, thinking about biking, thinking about hiking, or even just sports, you know.
As a nature landscape photographer that's from somewhere like ridiculous, like the Rocky Mountains, you can kind of get put into a bit of a box by potential clients, get put into a bit of a niche. How do you not get stuck in a box or niche, or do you feel like you need a niche in the photo industry?
Yeah, I think it's important to have a niche because it's a way to make yourself stand out, and it's a way to attract clients that you want to work with. And if you're shooting everything all the time, what's going to separate you from someone else? And I think the world of generalist photography is dead. It went away when magazines and newspapers went away. We certainly know some people that shoot very specific niches, but for me, I would get bored doing too specific a thing, and then as soon as you're bored, you're not going to be creating good content. So I think it's super important to shoot enough variety to stay interested. And then you also, I mean, contrary to what I just said, you have to also keep in mind that if you're only a night sky photographer, how many potential clients are there for you? But if you're a landscape photographer, you can make that quite broad at the same time.
So if outdoors, nature, adventure is your sort of deal, what's the draw to Cuba? What makes Cuba special for you?
Yeah, it's my second trip down here, and the first time I cycled around the island, saw all these small towns and all the tourist destinations sort of that we visited this trip. I think Cuba's just really crazy because of the embargo that's been here for 60 some years now. It's such a unique country that even though you're not shooting epic landscapes every day, there's enough visually interesting things to separate it from other cities. And we also found some pretty cool landscapes. The karst landscape around Vinales is pretty incredible. The mountains in the east of the country, I've still never been, but I've heard they're great. There's pretty cool mountains and hills around Trinidad with the waterfalls. And so there's a bigger mix than most people see, because I think Cuba's always been this resort-based travel destination, and people come to hotels and they go to the nearby city, and that's it. Even the people that get out of the cities, out of the resorts, they hit the city and they shoot a guy smoking a cigar on the street corner and then a classic car, and that's about it. You just don't see the variety that's truly here. I
just want to talk really quickly about Instagram and the role it plays as photographers, because I know there's a lot of you guys that are really interested in the role of Instagram as an income generator. So let's get into a couple questions about that. First thing I want to ask is the term Instagram. For me, I hate the term, and if anybody calls me it, I kind of cringe a little bit. So I have a two-part question. One, how do you feel about the term Instagrammer? And two, do you feel like there is an Instagrammer? Do you think that exists?
I personally loathe the term as well, and I just think it doesn't do justice to the amount of work going into it that a lot of people put into it. And I guess like in the easiest way I would just differentiate, if you had to use it, is my camera bag is really heavy, and that's because I use professional camera gear. I carry filters around. variety of lenses, and that makes me a photographer. I'm shooting photos, and I suppose if someone was shooting only with their iPhone, only exclusively for social media, maybe that's an Instagrammer. But at the same time, it's sort of it's taken away from their creative eye, and it's taken away from what they're doing. I mean, I've traveled with some people that only shoot on their iPhone. It's incredible what you can come up with.
Here we have famous Instagrammer Jeff Bartlett surrounded by his fans. Oh my God, it's Jeff Bartlett! So Instagram plays a big role in photography these days, but what about the business side of things? How has Instagram influenced your business?
I think there's sort of two main things about Instagram from a business point of view. One is it does eventually generate income if you have a big enough following, because you do get to do sponsored posts, and you're basically creating ads for partners that you're working with. When you do that, I always suggest working with people and brands that you actually enjoy, so it can fit naturally in it. You know, I caught a little bit of flack this week for an ad I did, but it wasn't totally outside of my style. At the same time, if I shoot for Eddie Bauer in a ad, it just fits with me because it's mountain clothing. I'm, go skiing or go hiking with my friends, and it just fits. So I think from that point of view, you get some income. The other huge thing about Instagram is it's the new portfolio. So your style has to be visible, and the quality of the images should be there.
Overnight, if Instagram were to disappear, how would your business change? How would life as a photographer change?
Yeah, but if it disappeared overnight, it'd be pretty shocking to a lot of people, myself included, because there'd be some work would dry up right away. But I think I still treat it and look at it like a portfolio. So honestly, you'd get away with it because you would just find a new way to show potential clients your work. And whether that's, we'd find a way to drive traffic to my website, I'd find a way to drive traffic to my Facebook page, or some other way. 30 years ago, you'd print your photos off, put them in a book, and go knock on someone's door to show them the work. It's no different, except no one has to leave their room anymore. And it's crazy, we just watched Vine disappear overnight. We woke up one day and Twitter said, oh, we're not going to do that anymore. And people were making money on Vine. And that can happen tomorrow with Instagram. It's owned by Facebook.
What's one thing you wish you knew from the start?
I think we're definitely all guilty of thinking you're going to get there faster. And I think the biggest thing is maybe being a little more realistic in setting goals, so that you don't feel jealous when you see other people getting assignments and realizing that you haven't paid enough dues to get that assignment yet, even if the quality of your images is there. So it's just more a patience thing.
Where do you see the industry going in the next couple of years?
For the last few years, all the brands and destinations I work with have been trying to build their profile up online, and trying to, in a way, they're almost influencers now, because there's so many people that follow Travel Alberta now that they can start to become the publisher instead of paying for us to publish content about them. So all of a sudden there's going to be a bigger drive for storytelling and those authentic experiences that the destinations can promote themselves and show off themselves. So I think it's just going to be a lot more photo essay based as opposed to here's a hero image. And I mean, you love the Rockies, you've been to Moraine Lake. How many more Moraine Lake photos do we need to look at? We know what it looks like.
Okay guys, that's it for this episode of Featured Photog. If you like this style of episode, be sure to mention it in the comments. Let me know what you think. And be sure to follow Jeff. Not only on Instagram, he's Photo J Bartlett, but on all other social medias, he's all over the place. And yeah, big thanks to Jeff for hanging out with me and doing this little bit. Jeff is one of the guys in this industry that I respect. Not only from a work standpoint, but from a personal standpoint. He always keeps me humble. Sometimes he knocks me down a little bit, but it's that tough love that a guy like me needs a little bit. So I really respect that and appreciate it. So let's call that a show. But before we go, what's next with you, man? What are you up to?
I headed home to the Rockies, and I've got about 6 weeks close to home, and finally going to get some ski content done, which I'm looking forward to. Probably big backcountry ski trips coming up. I
got to be honest, I'm not going to miss winter this year. Anyways, guys, thanks a lot, dude. That was an awkward high five handshake.
We were going high five, we went handshake.
But that happens sometimes. We're terrible at life. Anyways, guys, I'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.
I got a flight.
Yeah, go catch your flight. Get out of here.